Hello, this is an Osaka League game played on 3 handicap that black won by 9.5, so pretty comfortable. The game was rather peaceful and black seemed to be in control from start to finish, so let's check it out. At some point, black could even take a bigger lead, but 9.5 it's good enough. So white starts with a Hoshi, which is very simple, and a very basic Joseki in the top left corner, but white center. So now he attacks another corner. It's interesting for white to go for the R14 approach because black is already setting up a Moya in the top, but it doesn't matter so much actually. Anyway, white has to spread the stones all over the board. Now we have the attach for the modern Joseki here. This is also fine. So when black decides to push at Q6, instead of simply going down R2, which is another basic Joseki, usually when R2, white will extend R8. Then black doesn't have to play Q6 anymore and just go, for example, G3 or R14 or attack the left side at C12. This is one basic Joseki. But if black pushes here, this means black wants to take center and go for outside thickness more. And now it's not necessary to go down R2. R2 is still a big move locally, but making this exchange doesn't really force white add another move on the side. So it's more interesting for black now to play away f3 or extend to the middle of the side like j4. So the idea for black here is to use the wall because once you push q6, the wall is bigger. So simply extend from it and set up a Moya. Now if black comes back, then it's more interesting to do it directly. Just go r2. If white goes q6, then you can play a peep, or you can just play on the right side r14. The group in the corner is already safe once you descend r2, and well, black is center right now. So playing like this, black ends in gote. Now white takes a big point on the board. Yeah, for white locally, it's big to turn here or to play a 2-space jump, but it's very good to play r14, and then when black defends, white can just turn q7 and try to build more on the right side. Yeah, white invades here, that's also good. In this position, it's absolutely fine to play c6, but black can also consider a pincer. j4, for example, to work with the wall on the right side and set up a Moya. Now, if white simply gets into the corner in the San, you play this basic Joseki, and it's already a nice Moya coming up on the bottom side. But nothing wrong with this. So we will have the same Joseki again. But in this case, actually, black can go down. It's an option to separate and change the Joseki a little bit. So white cuts usually, black turns, then double Atari to live in the corner. And now black needs to play Atari at G3. Of course, white can resist and we can have a fight here. But it's still nice for black to set up the Moya on the bottom side and also fix the territory on the left side while white simply runs into the middle to save the group. So that's an option, but it's still okay to play the basic one. So once again the push, but simply go down, white extends, and now you decide whether you want to extend on the left side or pincer on the right side or attack on the bottom side. All these moves are available. Anyway, the push is an option too. And again, this time you have to think about discarding the c3 stone, so go all the way to c12. This is interesting because the group in the corner needs some help, so usually white will just block c18. Now, when you play b14, white will just block here, and then you can extend back to d10. So you don't care about the cornerstone. Anyway, we will see the sacrifice in the game as well. Let's see what happened. So, black pincer on the right. That's a big move too. White goes in the corner, that's fine. Separate all the way. Here, black has two options, but yeah, s15 is fine. Usually, you can choose between q17 block and the separation, because here the top side is very nice. So black can add another move at l16 and enclose all that territory, or extend on the right side, r9. So this stone at r12 is not in danger. On the other hand, black also has the option to cover at q14. So when white is low on the second line like this, it's absolutely fine to block q17 and play Atari r18. But this shows more fighting spirit to play s15 and separate. And normally here, if black connects solid r15 and white goes p18, black also gets to block the top side. So white is a little bit in danger in the corner, therefore many times white will add another move. And here, black can connect solid, But if black is strong enough in the top, he can also ignore and play the right side. So this is a fine Joseki. S14 is good too. Now here white overplayed a little bit. White is still supposed to play P18, the Kema, just to leave in the corner. And then black can play away. Of course, when white plays this Kema, black will block many times. White goes up, black blocks again. But now there are some more cutting points here because of S14. So this can be troublesome. Therefore, when white pushes again and blocks here, black needs to add another move to stay safe, like this, or the solid connection, or maybe this one. But yeah, more cutting points. So white overplayed. This game it's played when white has the S17 stone at S18. So let's go back a little bit. If there's a hanging connection here, then Atari comes first, black defends one way or the other. White can extend further, because if black tries to separate, it doesn't work anymore. So if you push here like in the game, white will capture the stone, there is no more combination in the corner. Therefore, black has to cut the other way, and then Atari from the outside, and also cover to keep the wall safe. But white completely missed that, and he overstretched. So now black, of course, will cut. It's very good to sacrifice the stone and capture the 3 stones in the corner. Already, black is taking some advantage here. So white pushes through, then Atari and Atari. This is all forced. Here actually, black can just go out, because white will capture a stone, and then Atari from behind, and white connects. Those 2 stones on the right side are captured anyway, so you don't need to take right away. And now you're Sente, so you can play away. Because what happens, when you capture directly, white can go Atari here. And now it's difficult to start a ko, because once white captures the ko, black is in Atari. So on this kind of move, normally you need to connect. Then white captures a stone, you play double Atari from the outside, he connects, but then you need another move, so you make sure he doesn't come out. But in the game, white didn't play the Atari, so now it turned into a good formation for black. Atari from the outside, then you don't need to add another stone. So the idea is that if black plays away now, and white goes P14, black will never connect here. Black will always capture the stone. Therefore, white had to play this exchange earlier. Well, it's a tiny bit of, let's say, sensitive information or small detail whether to play Atari P14 or not, but one should think about it. Now playing C12 is between moves, because it leaves the invasion at C8. Well, white is not going to do it right away, but it can come. And also, it doesn't affect the corner so much, because white can still extend here at C12 to secure. It's much better to go all the way, C12, and then when white protects here, you extend back. If white doesn't protect, then it's a problem for white, because white may think, okay, you build a lot on the left side, so he can go for a pincer, for example, and then you push in the corner. And this can always be a problem for white, because now when white blocks, you can go for the vital point and then connect under to take away his base. Then white is on the run. Now, of course, white has this Tetsuji to play with fighting spirit, but black will cut, then Atari go out, then Hane, connect here, give up the stones in the top, and take the stones on the left side. So this is a trade. Give 2 stones, take 2 stones. And the pincer is still floating. So you should think about going all the way to put more pressure on the corner. So instead of the simple extension, C12. Okay, now white plays a narrow extension. White actually doesn't need this move because it's still Miai between taking the corner or extending on the side. Which means, wait. So let's say white plays, captures this stone. And of course black will go down, then sacrifice. And now if black goes C12, white can still go C18 to fix the corner. And if black goes C18, white can extend C12. Either way, it's fine. So this is a little bit slow for white, but maybe he's preparing the invasion. This extension, it's okay. Now white captures. Now here, when black sacrifices the 2 stones, white is supposed to go Atari B2, because on the Atari from the outside, white can also change his mind. He's already alive. So if white thinks there's a bigger move out there right now, for example, extend on the right side, or try to reduce the center coming from this direction, when black captures 2 stones, black will save the 2 stones, but only captures 2. On the other hand, when white plays Atari on the first line, and black goes Atari from the outside, now white is committed to capture them. White doesn't want to sacrifice anymore, because if this happens, let's say white plays away, black will turn first, and then capture 3 stones, and also damage more in the corner. So white played the wrong Atari. white should always play the Atari from the outside here. Also, black can play c5, because even if white turns and comes back to capture the 2 stones, the shape is good for black on the outside. But yeah, in order to make an extra point, you want to play b5 and then Atari c5, so you make sure you can build a point at b6. But it's with pluses and minuses. Well, in general, it's okay to play b5, but for white it was not so great to play a3. This is a pretty large point, so it's another push here. If you push and white simply gets ahead, and then you play some ogema to grow the box towards the center, it's fine, because for white it's not so interesting to develop in the direction of black thickness in the top right. But r9 is good. Now hane also good. But then the vital point is to play nobi, because even if white goes for a capture here, black will add another stone and sacrifice both, then just cut. This is the way to try to kill, because if white connects here, now you catch the 2 stones. So white needs to play this move to remove a liberty, then you have all these outside forcing moves. So in the end, white will capture 2 stones, but black connects everything on the outside. And now black is also sent to play another jump in the middle to build this box. So this would be a nice sacrifice. When you play the hane on the right, white gets the tiger mount, which is a good shape, and here black is supposed to play nobi. Then when white plays here, you nobi again. If he jumps in the center, now you can play the push on the right side in center. You don't need to start with this move, because, well, white has timing to play Atari here. I mean, even if white defends like this, black still needs to nobi. So that can wait. And if black plays here and white plays the bump, it's okay to connect, but actually white will always play hane first and then bump, and black can go down, so it's fine. You build the points on the right side. Anyway, this was good for black. Cut where you can cut. And now, white's resistance is too much. He's supposed to play Atari and come out, because the group on the right side is not completely safe. So when he plays this move, he's in trouble. Yeah, nobi is good. Then push and cut. Very well. This is all forced. Fine. White can also play Atari here once. But actually he can play this anytime. The thing is, he needs to come back and leave. Yeah. So he needs the hane. Block. And white captures 2 stones. Actually, sorry, black captures 2 stones. Black can also turn s2 in center, because white needs to play s6 now. Then you can also descend and connect. Well, at some point black played this s2 and white defended t6, is the same thing. So he needs to leave with 3-4 points, which is painful. And now you can catch these 2 stones, but it's also interesting to cut like this. How is the ladder? It's broken. So when Atari here, and this ladder doesn't work because it's broken by k3, so white might need to sacrifice, and there's another cutting point in the middle that he has to worry, and then black can catch these 2 stones too. Anyway, the game is good for black here. All groups are solid. White got a painful life on the right side, so this fight was fine. Catch 2 more stones, why not? But now it's a pity white never played the Atari. So if he is going to sacrifice those guys, he needs the Atari here first, because later he will never play this exchange. Then give up the 2 stones, but come back and protect against the cut. So this is all good for black. And the group white build in the middle, it's quite heavy, because if white plays the Atari first, so this one, and then sacrifices the 2 stones, or even without playing any hane here, those 2 stones can be used as cotrets later. The shape for white, like this or like this, is much better in the center. Very difficult for black to attack this group now. But the way it happened in the game, it became a target. So very good to push in the middle and separate. Then when white plays this invasion on the 3rd line, usually black should attach under, not on top. So in general, is the attach on the 2nd line. Now white can hane one way or the other and cut, but that's actually what black wants to happen. So you allow white escape, crawling on the 2nd line. He's very happy that the invasion was successful, but is actually super low. Then this turn is center, and it's pretty good for black. And now, having the wall in the middle, you can just surround the group in the center. So the idea is to give up 1 stone bait, make the wall in the center, and then attack the other group. So that should be a fine natural variation. Because when you play the attach on top, usually white will capture that stone. So what happens here is black connects underneath with Atari, but black needs another move. Otherwise it's a co-fight. And then white just got stronger in the center. So white can turn here or push along and then play a keima or jump in the middle. So it's very easy for him to escape. And now black is lower on the second line on the bottom area. So remember that it's much better to play the attach underneath. And also now when you go out, you actually hurt your stone, this k3, because white connects, and this k3 looks like a pip at the cutting point. That's why in general you need to play Atari under. If white connects, you connect under, he needs to take Punuki. But usually he will take the Punuki right away. Then you either connect under or you play Atari to put more pressure on the group. But the idea is to keep connected. So he went out, connect, turn, push again. Oh, the turn. Yeah, this is center, this is good. And this one too. Very nice. So if white plays any other move, throw in, and Atari and is dead. And here, this game, it's a bit too direct. It's obvious that you want to take those stones, but you should lean more on the bottom stones. Because if white jumps out, this Hane, it's annoying. So the only option for white to save his stones is to play Atari here. But this is still a problem, because black is not going to connect and allow the connection underneath, but play the block and Atari like this. Oh wait, this code doesn't work. Okay, so first of all, black is not going to play this move, but connect in the center. And then it was to play J2. So now when white connects here, black is stronger, and the counter attack is still severe in the middle. And on the other hand, if white doesn't connect J3, but tries to save the middle, black can do this and Atari. And now it's going to be a co-fight. Quite expensive for white. So actually, it's very good to lean on your opponent's stones like this, because this move, it's most of the time center. White will get ahead to make sure he separates k3 and he's not in trouble. But then your wall is stronger, so instead of going out here, you can attack from the middle. You stop white going in the direction he wants to go. Then when he plays this one, you play keima to connect to the left side. Then if you play something like this, you play a peep, and then another keima. So you just drive this group, in the direction of the black stones on the left and the bottom. So he's going to die big time. Therefore, this game could be won by black by lots of points. So he turned here because you never push, but actually the problem of white is to jump out. Then when black pushes, he goes here. But he turned once and then he jumps. Okay, capture this guy. Actually, the vital point here is Nobi, because he threatens the cuts. So white plays this move to connect, and then you jump along. If white plays here, you don't have to worry, because the group on the right side is safe anyway. This move is center, so you avoid being in a bad shape. You can also play this kind of clamp to make some I shape, then come out again in the center. So white is still on the run. But I understand, black feels good, so he wants to keep everything connected. It's a handicap game, but still it's better to play this move and then, for example, here, and build more points. Anyway, good to stay connected. So yeah, the push was not really center. It's actually big to jump here. And also the group in the middle, it's a little bit in trouble. You can always cut like this or like this, but I guess you'll sacrifice. Anyway, yeah, it's good to keep it simple. So Hane, very good. That's an overplay. Why should pull back or play Nobi? Playing this move, it's too much, because black can counter Atari from behind and separate. So now even if white plays this Atari, black can just link under and he's still on the run. On the other hand, he hurt himself at c12. So this is too much. If he pulls back and you come out, then he plays a cramp, you connect. That's a normal follow-up, then he should play something here. The game, it's probably still kind of close. So Atari first, then connect, because it makes this look like a peep where there was a cut. And on this Atari here, from the outside, like this, black can also defend, because if white goes down, black will cut and white is in a lot of trouble. And if white protects around here, you can play a peep and then you stay connected like this. So back to the original game. Push. Okay, pull back, that's good. Cut, it's a bit too much, just Hane under. If he blocks, then you play Atari, then you have this cut and you come out. And this is setting up a ladder. So white will push again, then you have the Hane. It's similar to what happened in the game. He might play several Ataris. But if he does this, he's losing the cut at c9. Then he needs to go back here, and then he still has problems in the middle. So the fight is good for black. Anyway, cut right away. When white wants to cut c9, normally it's just good to push again. I mean, simply get ahead. Because if white goes down here, this cut is still a problem. Or you can jump in. So cut where you can cut this time, then Atari go out. But here, it's big to Hane. Because this is threatening to catch the 4 stones. So if white is trying the cut now, he's losing the 4 stones in the middle. Therefore, he needs to play some moves in the center, protect against that capture somehow, and then, okay, black can still sacrifice the stones on the left side, but black will build more in the middle. So simply Nobi, then sacrifice. You shouldn't push here. It's more interesting to turn in the center and use the 2 stones attacking the other 4. If he captures here, you don't need the stone at b8. You better play Atari from the outside. He needs to play this one, and now there's more pressure in the center. Because playing the block here gives up the 2 stones, but it's really small territory to gain around b7 compared to the prospects black has in the center. So he pushes in the middle. He doesn't want the 2 stones anymore. But actually he can take the 2 stones, and now when black turns, this is not longer center because white is already connected. So black has white has time to connect here. Anyway, white is looking for the middle now. So this is probably the last important fight of the game. How to build the center. Black can Nobi here actually. The 2 stones will die inside on a larger scale. So this one, block. Put some pressure in the top. Actually, the way to put pressure in the top is this shoulder hit and then the tsuke. So now white is looking for this box in the center. Usually on that tsuke, black will just play the wedge. Atari connect, and in this case, white might connect to make sure he builds all the points in the center. Then black extends again. This way, black managed to break the middle more, and it's good. This is all forced. But k18 looks a little bit too conservative. Obviously, white wants to cut g18 and j18 and so on and extend, but you can play l18, you can also play m18, or you can just play a 1 space jump here. Because if he cuts like this, you capture, Atari, take, Nobi, just block. There is no way out. Anyway, super safe and solid. Makes sense. Now white got back to capture those stones, but he's still in trouble on the right side. So capture here, very good. Keep everything safe. Now on this Hane in the corner, there are several moves to consider. Obviously white wants to play t18 to capture them. So if you play s19 is greedy, because he might go for a co-fight like this. But it's more interesting to go down t18, because all of a sudden you have 3 liberties. And the thing is, he will never be able to Atari from the inside. So this means if white plays s8, s19, you don't have to do anything. He still needs an approach move at q19 and then Atari t19. So this means black is centered to play away. If white doesn't play anything after t18, let's say he plays here, later in the game you play s19, and this saves a couple of points. You don't need these 2 moves inside, and you also make an extra point in the corner. So you can make 3 points instead of just taking the stones, because now he will Atari from the outside, you take this one, and you lose 1, 2, 3 points automatically. So gotta pay attention to these small details. In fact, that's a good block. This was fine. This is also a nice jump because you try to take away his eyes, force him. Here it's interesting to play Atari once, then go down to see whether he blocks or he connects like this. Usually he will block because he wants to take away a liberty. This Atari you can keep as a co-threat. But then when you go down here, for example, and he blocks and you go down like this, in the end he needs to play inside several times. In fact, 3 more times. So this creates a semidori. Well, right now he still got the outside liberties, but once they are filled, he gotta play inside 2 more times. So let's say he plays somewhere here, you play this one, he plays this one, you have Atari, he plays this one. So you get to build a few extra points in the middle, and on the bottom, forcing white capture the dead stones inside. So that's a good thing to do. After this push, it's good to go down. Don't allow the Atari, because you make a few points there, and if he plays Atari, it's going to destroy the points in center. And he got it. This is threatening a call, very good. And it's finished. Oh, actually for black, it's interesting to go down here, because this will save the points on the left. So on the left, white can only just play this hane and later fight the ko. But if white plays here, black has a follow-up with this attach, and then connect and push more. So white might block the left side, therefore black keeps those points on the left and then go on the right. But now it's just the 2-3 points moves. In fact, here white can play Atari first. When black connects, white captures a stone. If black connects here, white connects under. So he doesn't have to lose 2 more points. Well, in this case, it didn't really make a difference, but it can. It's good to block here. Even if white plays Atari, you can capture a stone or connect, and then he needs to come back and connect. And if you take the stone, he plays Atari, you connect, but now it's white lost some points in the top. So this way, white can push through and black will lose a couple of points. But sensitive difference anyway. Aha. So here, black can still play this Atari, go down, Atari, then block. And white will come back and protect. Yeah, this is dangerous now for white. So if white plays away, black can play here. If white pushes, black plays this. If white plays a throw-in, black just Atari from the outside and is dead. So, yeah, he noticed the danger. Now here there's a little Dametsumari. So black actually doesn't need more moves, because black has an eye and white doesn't. So if black plays away and let's say makes another point here, when white pushes inside like this, you just block. Then if he plays here, you take away the outside liberty. If he throws in, you take, and when he plays, he cannot do anything. If he approaches like this, it's a self-Atari, so you can play away again. When it's one eye versus no eye, you don't need to play inside again. And here, it's also not necessary to capture the stone. So let's say you play away. If he plays Atari like this, you connect. When he plays Atari here, you take the 2 stones. And when he throws in, you take the 3 stones. And if he connects, you don't do anything, because he's still in Atari, and only when he plays Atari inside, you capture everything. So it was not necessary to add another move inside. And that's pretty much it. Well, a win, it's a win. 9 points, very comfortable, but it could have been slightly better. Both for white and black, obviously, but some tactical issues here and there. I hope you enjoyed this review and play more active and slightly better next time.